Today, I want to begin with, my rooster wants to begin by saying hello. His name's Fred. My husband has, I don't think they're nightmares. I think they're amazing dreams of Fred coming into our bed. And now I believe there will be a children's book one day written called Fred in the Bed. Anyways, I want to begin today with my value offering to you. You being somebody who is on this planet with something only you can bring into the world. And that goes for all people. But if we are to actually get on that destinic path, I made up that word, it should exist. Destiny, destinic. Can I get an amen? Okay. So if we are going to go on that path, what do we need? We need ourself, number one, first and foremost. We need our true self. After that, we need friends. And not just any friends. We need friends who are as boundless and limitless and supportive as us. Sometimes you don't have that type of friend in your immediate, and that's okay. And that doesn't mean the friends that you have are not amazing people. But if you are to trot down the path of destiny, you need fellow travelers. And those travelers are going to speak life into you and into your dreams, and you them. Those people are going to hold you and see you in a way that for a while you only saw yourself. And on the days where you want to give up, those are the people who are going to remind you who you are and why you're here. Of course, you now know I'm going to give you a time in my life where I was having a WTF moment and I called upon a fellow traveler. So it was probably September, early October 2024. And as you know by now, if you have watched any of my videos, hi, I'm Anna Scott, by the way. I am a performance therapist, therapeutic muse, educational advocate, writer. Why do I become British? Is that British? Let me know in the comments. And I wrote the final Godfather film called The Goddaughter. This is why you're here, but I also offer you tidbits because I'm all about reciprocity, okay? Okay. So when I first received the inspiration for The Goddaughter in 2022, you gotta let something like that integrate and settle in. And then you start to think to yourself, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do this? I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I got 3 dogs, I have a new business. How am I going to take on the magnitude that this project would require of me when there is 0 material, highlighting the word material, influx back to me in the present, right? We're not made of millions. My husband, a salt of the earth stone mason, has supported our family in ways it would take eons to explain, okay? He chose that though. We chose each other. The most impossible dreamer decided to marry the most grounded, practical man on planet Earth. If he was more grounded, he might be dead. Thank God he's not. But the beauty of all of this, and I'm going on a tangent, but it's important. The beauty of all of this is, as I followed my dreams, his dreams now are being opened up in ways that neither of us really expected. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love him. He's going to be so mad maybe that I'm saying this, but probably not, because we're besties. So back to my moment in time where I was having a WTF with the universe. At that point, September, October 2024, I had known enough to know that if The Goddaughter was to be made, it could not be a standalone movie, because for it to have the enduring effect that I had understood at that point it needed to have, it would have to be a continuation of the Godfather saga, meaning all characters would be revived in order to get that oomph right away. So when I started doing research on the original saga, the name Francis Ford Coppola came into my awareness. I immediately thought it was amazing and incredible that he had an Instagram at 80-something years young, and I started following the way that he wrote, and I started listening to clips of him. And while he is not the deciding factor on if a continuation would be made, it would be remiss not to make a true, genuine connection and collaboration with the person who made the first three possible. So in my mind back then, I was thinking, I gotta get into a room with that guy, but how would that ever happen? That's impossible. This thought kept coming in. That's impossible, Anna. You're never gonna get in a room with him. So I went to work one day. I have an office in Old Saybrook, Connecticut that I share with an amazing woman, Becca Starr, and we both operate our businesses out of this beautiful space. And I was sitting down with her one day, and she's a very gifted, clairvoyant, psychic, but that doesn't even scratch the surface of this woman's talents. So I was sitting down with her, kind of sharing my woes, and she was like, hey, why don't we just tune in, see what's going on about your upcoming trip? Because a couple weeks prior, my mom had invited me on a trip to Italy. I had never been. I am half Italian. Of course I say yes. Of course I want to go to Italy, Mom. I would love to go to Italy. And getting ready for that trip, sit down with Becca, and I'm like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to do this movie? I don't have the time. I don't have the connections. I don't have the resources to do this. And what she says to me is, this trip is going to change everything. I say, okay. Go on the trip. Standing in line, this is a fantastic memory. Standing in line to the baggage claim, I say to my mom, because in this moment, Megalopolis, Francis's latest movie, had come out. It was in the theaters, and I wanted to get to know him more through his creative expression. And I was like, Mom, if it's playing in the theaters in Rome, do you want to go? She's like, I don't want to go to the movies on vacation. We have stuff to see. And I was like, oh, okay. I got it. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. We get to Italy, and it's beautiful. I forget my woes because you're in a place of literal beauty. We're in the eternal city, okay? Trip of a lifetime. My husband is home with the kids. I'm in Italy for a week. Who's better than me? So a few days go by, we see some sights, have amazing food, and I'm scrolling on the gram because my mother, I love her so much, but the woman is a machine. We walked probably 12 miles a day, and I had to beg for a rest in between. Mom, if you're watching this, I appreciate the movement, I do. Just noting, I was tired. So in one of my siestas that I had to beg for, I was scrolling on the gram, and one of those sponsored ads popped up, and it was Francis Ford Coppola's face with this Italian writing on the top. And I was like, what's that? An evening with Francis Ford Coppola is what my translator told me it said, because although I am Italian, I do not speak the language yet. Perhaps that'll be on the bucket list for future episodes of Anna Scott. And I do some research here, and I realize this event is at a movie theater. And I'm like, where is this movie theater? And is Francis in Italy right now? Is that possible? I click on it. Cinema Troisi. I may have pronounced that wrong, but you get the gist. Cinema Troisi. I click on it. 0.9 miles from my location. Of course, the event is sold out because it's been something that's been advertised for months and months and months, but I had missed it. And I think that's part of the beauty of the universe. At the right time, if you're paying attention, miracles are available. So there's no spots. I make a creepy comment underneath the post, and everyone's speaking Italian. I'm like, probably no one's going to respond to this, but how can I not engage with destiny? So I make a comment and I say, just found out about this. My mom and I would love to come. If there's any tickets, let me know. This beautiful little man who I don't actually know what he looks like, and I don't even know if he's little. He might be quite large. He's a beautiful soul, whoever he is. But in my mind, he has a sprightly spirit, so maybe that's why I said little. This man DMs me, and there's no profile picture. It's just like a bot. So you would think, based on any knowledge of the internet, this is not a real human being, and I'm gonna get robbed if I give this person my credit card information. But something, made me just say, let's check it out. He says, hey, I have 2 tickets. My friend got sick. And if you give me your PayPal, I will send them over to you via email. I said, okay, let me get back to you. So I text Becca, and I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? I tell her about Francis being in Italy. She goes, you don't need me to tune into shit. You need to go to the event. Are you kidding me? I said, oh, okay, you're right. Sorry. Okay. So I send this unknown man my PayPal. Hello, birds. Do you love that I'm outside, by the way? It feels fun. He sends me the tickets. I'm still not confident they're real tickets, but we're rolling with it. My mom and I were at an art gallery. It was at 6 p.m. I think the event started at 8 p.m. And I was like, hey, I got tickets to see Francis Ford Coppola. Do you want to go? Let's be spontaneous. She was like, sure. I couldn't tell her that I got it from a strange man on the internet, or else she would have had this weird resistance to that, as any normal person probably would. So as we're getting to the theater, I'm kind of sweating. I'm like, oh my God, are they going to work? They worked. And my excitement did take over. And we sat ourselves in the front row. It turns out that they were seated seats, and it wasn't just a free-for-all, and we were asked politely-ish to leave the front row. But before we were asked to leave, I was about that close with Sir Francis. And in that moment, I was reminded of not even a week before when I screamed out loud, how the hell am I gonna get in a room with Francis Ford Coppola? And there I was, in a room with Francis Ford Coppola. Did I engage conversation with the man that night? No, I did not. I did not have the words to say. But what I did have, moving forward from that evening, was a vow to myself and to this story that I would see it through. And I asked God, whatever word you're comfortable with, God, the universe, the divine, source, Mother Earth, the tree, yourself, whatever you want to believe in, I said to that essence, continue to show me the way, and I will walk it. Hello. I just realized I forgot to add, I'm in a fake forest now. I was in my front yard before, and now I'm in my office, on the ground. I forgot to end my very dramatic episode by saying like, comment, and share. Like, comment, and share. Is that Andrea Bocelli playing in the background? I was feeling Celine Dion radio for my sessions tonight because the drama is so beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful language of song. Okay, next time we're going to get into the mental health meets education system meets gun violence meets power misuse meets the Goddaughter. I was planning on doing that today. However, I kind of feel like leaving you on the edge of your seat so you come back on Sunday. Okay, I love you.